I wanted to just watch one of the anti-vax videos here and just make fun of it, just because I think anti-vax is a group that needs to be constantly ridiculed to help maybe push people away from pursuing that kind of shit. So let's just go ahead and shit on some anti-vaxxing. To the danger of the COVID vaccine, she showed us that it magnetizes the human body, and her science is irrefutable. These same people probably believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows. Anti-vaxxers and flat earthers are two sides of the same coin, both bred from fucking idiocy and the desire to be special or smarter than the experts. However, flat earthers are mainly just a joke, a fun group to make fun of because they believe something downright ridiculous, and it's harmless. It doesn't hurt anyone that they're fucking stupid and believe these things. They can believe Xenu powers boners from a cosmic plane above us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt anyone. Anti-vaxxers hurt everyone on a global scale, and this cult has some pretty powerful leaders in the YouTube community. I wanted to just watch one of the anti-vax videos here and just make fun of it, just because I think anti-vax is a group that needs to be constantly ridiculed to help maybe push people away from pursuing that kind of shit. So let's just go ahead and shit on some anti-vaxxing.
Hi, my name is Anas Mughal. I got 2 children, and we were pro-vaccines, and then one of my children got damaged by a vaccine when that child was 4 months old.
So now you meet our protagonist here, Anus. His name is Anus, and it'd be an extremely poor taste and very low for me to make fun of his name being Anus. But it's anti-vax, so there's nothing too low. This dude's name is fucking Anus, and he's an anti-vaxxer. That's perfect. That's a beautiful marriage right there. Now, Anus tells a story here, and there's some inconsistencies with it that don't make much sense, so it makes me believe that the story's A, not true, or B, completely exaggerated. So honestly, I start to believe Anus is full of shit as his story continues. He's telling this on a site called Larry Cook or some shit like that. Now, Larry Cook is a goddamn anti-vax vampire. This man is fighting vaccinations tooth and nail. He would literally be biting the necks of vaccinated children and sucking the vaccines out of them. That is the kind of man Larry Cook is. He's a fucking lunatic.
We had to turn to alternative medicine, and then we realized our other child was developing food allergies very rapidly. And we realized he had a lot of toxins built up in his body.
A little pro tip, when you hear someone say that your body is toxic or that you're building up toxins or something, you gotta detox it, rub these essential oils on your nipples to detox your whole body, it's bullshit. That is the most profitable buzzword. Toxins, toxic, detoxing, all forms of that. It's nonsense. It's complete bullshit, and it's usually just trying to sell you something, scam you, or just show how fucking dumb they are.
A child, and why he was building up allergies and eczema and asthma and all these other issues. Was it attributed to these vaccines that we gave him when he was little? And when we saw the issue happen to our daughter, we realized that vaccines are not safe. They have a lot of side effects, and we held off vaccinating from that day onwards.
The word research means literally fucking nothing these days. Anus, you did no research. You went on Facebook and you found some anti-vax Facebook groups. You started buying their merch, repping their swag, and believing their absolute bullshit. Anti-vax should have never spread, nor should flat earth. But because of how easy it is to find anything you want, you can find any information at all that confirms your personal beliefs, no matter how outrageous. You could find something that says Santa Claus does exist and he's a notoriously disgusting sex fiend in the North Pole fucking his elves, bending them over the toys. You could find anything about anything, except you don't look for anything credible. You just look for anything tangible. Anything you can see on Facebook, you take as the truth instead of looking at actual scientific research and shit like that. That's what you found, Anus. You didn't do research. You just wasted some time on fanfic. And that's fucking sad. I hate that this shit spread. What should spread is the knowledge of my Twitch streaming, twitch.tv/moistcritikal. Come check it out. I stream daily. It's a lot of fun. I'd love to see you there.
Now he's reached a stage after we detoxed him, after we gave him a lot of green juicing, organic foods, and we make all his foods from scratch at home. He's reached a stage now where he can be in a public setting, he can go to public school.
Thank God, Whole Foods did it again. They saved a child's life. Did you hear that? The juicing, the pre-digestible vegan healing vitamin nutrient chakra bars they were feeding him, all of it solved all of his problems, and it made him 6 feet tall when he was only 4 years old, I bet. It's bullshit. You did nothing for your child if that's actually how you tackled his problems. That did literally nothing. You may as well have just rubbed dirt in his face.
The vaccine laws in New Jersey were pretty strict. We could not get an exemption for him to be able to attend a regular school. So we decided to move to California 5 years ago. And we were able to make him attend school because we were able to get the exemption.
Yeah, a vaccine exemption form is something that should not exist anywhere. That's like having a form that allows a child to bring a time bomb to school. Because that's what your child is when he's not vaccinated. A fucking time bomb of disease and illness. It's downright inhumane to even allow children to go to school unvaccinated. It just puts them and other people in danger. So a vaccine exemption form should not exist in any capacity.
We do not vaccinate right now. One of the main reasons is my kids, we want to maintain a toxic-free environment in their body. And whenever the toxin level raises in my child, we start seeing all these manifestations of food allergies and so forth.
A toxic-free body, huh? As you choose alternative medicine to treat your shit, which probably has you digging in the backyard for soil and mixing it with dog urine in a blender for your power smoothies.
We're not concerned about these illnesses because in the past he had severe coughing, he had severe throat infections, he had fevers that we were able to encounter and resolve using alternative therapies, and he was able to recover safely.
So it's totally clear at this point that Anus has thrown out science in favor of smoothies. We treated our son's severe cough and all of these other bad things with alternative methods that are proven not to work. So, yeehaw, you're such a fucking hero, Anus. Now, opposing vaccines is awful, but completely throwing out medicine entirely is even worse, Anus. This is kind of how all anti-vaxxers think, though, that science is a cult. They believe that science has brainwashed people and that science is wrong. And yet these people are the product of science. These fucking idiots would have been dead 20 years ago had they not been saved by modern medicine advances and societal advances in that department.
The toxins and the chemicals that are in vaccines, we need to make sure that we keep his body clear of toxins. I also oppose mandatory vaccinations because there's no fear or there's no outbreak out there that grants or warrants us having all these people given all these shots.
Yeah, and you know the story, the measles outbreak that's been going on and shit like that. No need to get into that because you're all well aware that there are outbreaks of extinct diseases coming back because of these fucking anti-vaxxing idiots. They're a goddamn scourge, a fucking plague on the fucking globe, and they make me very upset. So do your part, insult the anti-vax movement in hopes that perhaps people that were susceptible to this cult-like mentality don't go down that dark path. And remember, you or your family, if you're an anti-vaxxer, just because you join a Facebook group of fucking idiots doesn't mean you're smarter than the people that actually study this shit and do research and advance in the field. Your Facebook group is not that smart. And that's kind of the takeaway here. Fuck anti-vax. And also, hats off to YouTube. They demonetize all anti-vax content, so I respect that. I think that's actually a nice little move from them. So you did a good thing for once, YouTube. I like that. That's it. See ya. Yesterday, one brave nurse stepped forward in front of upwards of 4 people and told the world the dark truth we didn't want to hear. She opened our third eye, dragged us kicking and screaming into the light to the danger of the COVID vaccine. She showed us that it magnetizes the human body, and her science is irrefutable. And to be honest, it really makes sense. I'm vaccinated, and ever since getting the vaccine, I've noticed when I go in the kitchen, my knives start to shake a little bit. So now that I know the truth, I'm going to have to switch to like ceramic knives or something like that, so that way I don't go down there and just get like fucking, impaled by 10 different knives like I was attacked by Magneto. I'm going to have to take precautions now that I'm aware.
Yes, vaccines do harm people. By the way, so I just found out something when I was on lunch, and I wanted to show it to you. We were talking about Dr. Tenpenny's testimony about magnetic vaccine crystals. So this is what I found out. So I have a key and a bobby pin here. Explain to me why the key sticks to me. It sticks to my neck, too. I got this. Yeah, so if somebody can explain this, that would be great. Any questions?
This guy's face really says it all, to be honest. Of course there were no questions, because you can't disprove that. Like, that is as bulletproof as science can get. Did you see the way the key stuck to her chest? There is no other explanation other than the fact that her entire body has become a magnet because of the COVID vaccine. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, open your eyes. It's so clear now that she's blown the lid wide open. I think the fact that this lady is a nurse should be extremely inspiring to all of you watching this, because this proves that no matter how fucking dumb you are, you can still achieve pretty much anything you want. I can't imagine there's anybody watching this scratching their head right now, fucking blown away like, oh my fucking god, how did this happen? I mean, Charlie, the key did stick, so she's got a point, you can't explain that. I think everyone understands what happened here and how the key stuck to her chest for like half a second, but just in case, I'll go ahead and spoil the surprise and ruin Christmas here. I'll tell you how the sausage was made, break the magician's code, so it's not exactly like a David Blaine level trick or illusion. It's, you can do it with anything. You just press it against your skin, and then your sweat particles will eventually take hold of it if you press hard enough. You can literally do it with anything. Like, here's one of Bill Gates' microchips, and I could just have that sit there for a long time. You know, this isn't even metal. Like, it's just, you can do it with anything, and I think all of us know that, but for some reason, she used this like proof, like, look at this! My blood has been transmogrified into magnet crystals because of the vaccine! Obviously. It's like she's doing this to a class of 4-year-olds, like, who don't have object permanence yet. Like, I'm surprised she didn't also do, like, the pull the thumb away trick. Which now I look like a fucking idiot because I don't remember how that works. Is it like this? Look at this, the COVID vaccine is taking my thumb off. You can't explain that. My thumb's gone now, all because of the COVID vaccine. I also love how even in her demonstration, she couldn't get the bobby pin or the key to stick to her neck. So you can see the panic start to set in. She's like trembling a little bit as she knows that this is becoming a giant fucking train wreck. And I think that's beautiful. Even with the simplest thing in the world, which is just pressing an item against your skin to make it stick, she couldn't pull it off when she needed it most. Oh man, it's poetic, really. So I think that's great. The whole thing was a pretty wonderful demonstration and a look at delusion in a different light. And yeah, I just really wanted to share this because I thought it was really goofy and cool. I love the audience reaction behind her as they're just kind of laughing at her and kind of confused by the whole thing that she's bringing up. But I think the saddest part is this strikes me as someone who truly believes in this bullshit. I think they really did read one post on Twitter that said that the vaccine causes human body magnetism and potential spontaneous combustion of just erupting into blood and flames and tits everywhere. And she really took it to heart and believes it. So then on her lunch break, she took keys and bobby pins and paper clips and just started going full Hellraiser, just sticking them all over her body and panicking when they'd stick for more than a second, convincing herself that it truly was magnetism. So I'm sure she fully believed she was walking into this building ready to really break new ground here and be a hero. But obviously, I don't think that was the case. I don't think even the most die-hard conspiracy theorists would watch this and, like, point to it as proof, like, look at that! You see? She's done it! Without a shadow of a doubt, she has confirmed that the COVID vaccine causes human magnetism. It's fucking crazy. But, yeah, anyway, just wanted to share this because this is a real goofy one. That's about it. So, yeah. You all know I'm a big fan of conspiracy theories as long as they're harmless, fun ones such as, you know, reptilians controlling the world, talking about like zippers on the sides to some powerful people's necks that reveal a giant lizard underneath the human skin suit. Flat Earth is always a classic fun one to play with. But then there's they're very dangerous ones, and I think one of them that's really taking a huge upswing in the amount of people that believe it is 5G causing the coronavirus. A month ago, this was a fucking joke across the entire internet. But now, in the last month, everyone's quarantined, locked down, desperate, bored, and I think they're getting fucking dumber. Because there's so many people that are now unironically believing 5G is the cause of coronavirus that I actually can't believe it. These same people probably believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows. It takes mere minutes of research outside of Facebook anti-vax groups, actual scientific research. It takes only minutes to immediately disprove that and find there's no connection between 5G towers and coronavirus. That shouldn't be shocking to the majority of people, but to some people, I'm speaking blasphemy. I am a puppet of the Illuminati to some people for saying that, because these people see the truth. These high school dropouts that failed every fucking course, no, they're the ones that understand the 5G connection to coronavirus, not the scientists, not the experts. These fucking limp-dicked fucking idiots sitting in their basement for fear that the government's listening to them through their alarm clock so they have a tinfoil hat and condom on. Those are the real intellectuals. And they're spreading this kind of shit on the internet, which is laughable and it's fun to make fun of, but now they're starting to set cell phone towers on fire? It's fucking crazy. It's getting actually dangerous now. So, how did this start? I'm not here to be a fucking science professor, so I'm not going to tackle every angle of this. I'm just going to point out the most common and the most obvious fallacies in this logic of 5G being the coronavirus culprit, the one that's really controlling it all, and how the government, big brothers, got us under their thumb. They don't want us to see the earth is really flat, so they're using coronavirus to keep us inside and erect more 5G towers. We'll start with the origin of this conspiracy, at least in regards to coronavirus. In China, Wuhan, a 5G tower was rolled out at the end of 2019, so just a little bit before coronavirus broke out, and people are attributing the tower as the cause. That is ground zero of coronavirus. The tower caused it. That's pretty much where that logic ends. And then as it spread to the United States, they're saying the 5G towers are the cause of coronavirus in the US. Not because it's contagious through, spreading and being around people, but because the towers themselves are emitting too much radiation and it's causing the coronavirus, and the coronavirus itself isn't even real. It's a made-up hoax to cover for radiation poisoning. I've spent a few hours researching the conspiracy theory and looking around what everyone says on Twitter in these circles that truly believe this stuff, and they seem to all agree that coronavirus itself isn't real. What it is just radiation sickness, because the symptoms of radiation sickness are similar to those that are being reported with coronavirus. So that's basically the whole conspiracy in a nutshell. And it is fucking ridiculous. So, 5G towers have existed in the US since early 2019. While the idea of 5G has existed much longer, and most people seem to think we've had 5G for longer, we really didn't start getting 5G until early 2019 with actual towers and everything being built around the US. Those aren't make-believe. That's not like Tooth Fairy shit. It's real. You can go see those 5G towers in the real world in person. It's not smoke and mirrors, no magic tricks. That shit is there, and it has been there since 2019. There were no cases of coronavirus in the US throughout all of 2019, and there were no cases of coronavirus in the US until the China incident where coronavirus started to explode. And then, you know how the story goes from there. It spread throughout the entire world. But they seem to think that it's not actually spreading from human to human contact. It's being transmitted via the beams from the towers of 5G. That seems to be their accepted belief. I'm going to immediately poke a hole in that. Israel has 7,400 cases of coronavirus with 39 dead. Israel has no 5G towers. None. So how the fuck can that happen by this logic? Some enlightened Twitter users will be quick to point out that the radiation sickness was transferred. Someone who was infected by a tower in the US or some other part of the world traveled to Israel and started spreading it that way. Well, that's impossible via your radiation sickness hypothesis, because radiation sickness isn't contagious. You watched Chernobyl on HBO and you think you understand everything there is to know about radiation. Well, I'll tell you one thing Chernobyl got wrong. You are not some kind of walking fucking virus with radiation sickness. If someone you know has radiation sickness, they cannot transfer that onto you. If their entire fucking clothes, their entire wardrobe is covered in dense radiation and they try and suffocate you with that, maybe. But as a whole, radiation sickness itself is not contagious. So, you'd have to immediately throw out the radiation sickness hypothesis because it wouldn't be able to spread. It'd have to be coronavirus, which does exist and is very, very contagious, which is why people are being ordered to stay inside. If it was radiation poisoning, radiation sickness, it wouldn't matter if you were around 1,000 people. No one is going to catch that from you. It's easy to poke 1,000 different holes into this 5G coronavirus conspiracy. You can turn this shit into a fucking pincushion because it is so weak. But so many people still believe it just because I think they want to. They want to believe it's something bigger, like some grand conspiracy, just the man trying to keep them down or something. It's so silly. If you look into it yourself, it's going to be hard not to laugh at it because the leaps and these conclusions they draw are so nonsensical It's ridiculous. I just picked two quick ones to point out because those are the two most obvious ones that they have really no answer for that I've seen. And I'm sure there's going to be some comments on the video that immediately disregard shit and still try and promote the idea that 5G coronavirus thing is real, which is just pathetic. But anyway, I know I don't need to poke holes in it because it's already so goddamn silly if you even look at it for a second. I don't like having to be your fucking science teacher here. I graduated from university with a human sciences degree, so I do understand a lot of this stuff. Granted, I'm not as brushed up on the whole field as I used to be, because, I mean, I barely fucking use that knowledge anymore. But I do get it, and I understand where this fear comes from. You're locked inside, you're desperate, you're looking for answers, and you have no idea what else to turn to. So Twitter has this giant fucking platform full of lunatics that seem to believe this and are promoting it as a real thing. And since you're constantly on Twitter with nothing else to do besides jerk off and read garbage Twitter posts, you see this and you start to accept it. I get it, and I'm not blaming those people. But it is a very dangerous thing to just blindly follow this shit with no science and not doing any research on it at all. Now, what I do find interesting is there is a community of real scientists that are apprehensive about 5G's implementation and the future of 5G and what health implications it could have down the line. The conspiracy side of things is using this to promote the idea that scientists are afraid of it and they think that the scientists believe that it caused coronavirus. That couldn't be further from the truth. None of those scientists that are afraid of 5G's implications down the line have said anything about it being coronavirus related, which is what I'm focusing on. The scientists' main concern is they haven't been able to study the long-term health effects of what 5G could do in the future. There's nothing about coronavirus or anything like that. This community just wants a little more research done on 5G before it's implemented, and they think it's perhaps a bit rushed. It has nothing to do with the fucking scientists thinking that it's the cause of coronavirus. Again, this isn't a small community either. If you look up any 5G video on YouTube right now, it's overwhelmingly disliked with thousands of comments saying, "This is bullshit, don't trust them, rise up sheeple, it's time we take back our lives, don't let them control our minds, don't let anyone tell you what to believe," as they're being told what to believe by somebody else. I'm all for questioning the media and questioning sources and doing a lot of research to form your opinions, but I find it seriously hypocritical how this community keeps saying, "Don't trust anyone, but trust me." It makes no sense. Like, don't listen to anyone, don't let anyone tell you what to believe, as they're being told what to believe by some dude in his shit-stained underwear in a chat room somewhere. It's fucking silly. It's very hypocritical. Again, I'm all for questioning things you see in the media and online. I think that is the most healthy thing you can do. But when you start just entering an echo chamber and only looking up things that support what you want to believe, you're not getting anywhere and you're only making the problem worse. Now, I'm only focusing on the coronavirus aspect of this conspiracy theory. It goes much deeper with 5G. 5G itself is a rabbit hole for a crazy amount of conspiracies, especially on YouTube. For some reason, it seems a lot of YouTubers and YouTube commenters really believe that 5G is this ultimate boogeyman, like this final boss that's holding back the human species. Like, 5G is the one that's keeping us from growing wings and opening our third eye. It's weird. I don't know why everyone's latched on to 5G as this mega evil mastermind shit, but they have. But in regards to coronavirus, which is all I want to focus on, there is absolutely no possible way that 5G has caused coronavirus. You can just look at data, like real time, because it's only been a couple of months. You can see that 5G had no role to play. You can pretty much trace where coronavirus started in each area that it's in. It's right there at your fucking fingertips. You only need to look for a second in real, actual fucking sources outside of bad Twitter shitposts, anti-vax Facebook soccer mom groups. Just do real fucking research and form your own opinions. But this one is very silly, and lighting 5G cell phone towers on fire isn't doing anyone any good. You're causing more damage with the chemicals you put into the air from fucking burning that thing than the 5G rays, the beams. This fear of cell phones and networking has existed for as long as communication has, and it's always been ridiculous. It's always been silly and laughable, but Twitter is the place that now, no matter how outlandish and how ridiculous a belief is, it's going to blow up and it's going to have a big movement behind it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like on Twitter, for example, there's whole communities of people that fuck dogs. Like this community that would never find a home anywhere finds a home on Twitter, and there's thousands of them. There's pages on Twitter that actively talk about fucking their dog and have tens of thousands of followers that all support that and do the same thing. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. So then you'll have these people that believe that cell phones are the evil, dangerous thing, and you'll have people that just want to feel like they're smarter than everyone else. They're the ones that saw the truth, peeked behind the curtains and got the truth. So they'll believe these things, they'll spread it on Twitter, and then people that are gullible, bored, or just susceptible to misinformation start believing it, start getting real riled up, and then it leads to just absolute chaos, and that leads to setting a 5G tower on fire for no fucking reason. It's just crazy shit. I don't get why people are targeting 5G for coronavirus specifically, because there's really nothing there. The only piece of evidence that's even remotely true is that there was a 5G tower built in Wuhan a couple months before coronavirus outbreak. There's another thing I see tossed around how this one's just so fucking stupid. This community plotted out every major pandemic or every major flu and correlated it to mobile towers and networking, as if that has any correlation at all. So they have like the Spanish flu and then world's first prototype mobile network. Coincidence? No, I don't think so. And there's like 6 of these and it says 6 coincidences? That's impossible. It's just so fucking stupid. You can go through history and correlate every single one of those pandemics or flus to something else too. You know, peanut butter sandwiches invented in 1914. 4 years later, Spanish flu. Interesting. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches start getting packaged in the next one. It's just dumb. This is just such fucking terrible research and evidence. And yet people are believing it at face value, probably just out of boredom from quarantine. But I just wanted to talk about it because it's got me fucking fired up, because this shit is just wacky. This isn't the same kind of fun to laugh at conspiracy theory like flat earth and all that. This one has people believing it's fine for them to go outside and just spread fucking shit all over the place, especially in a time of pandemic like this, because they're convinced they know the truth that it's the cell phone towers, not coronavirus. So then it has them hurting everyone around them. I think it's just terrible. So I just wanted to talk about that. That's it. See ya. Let's not beat meat around the bush. Journalism's got a shitty reputation. Let's just call it what it is. When people hear journalists, they just get a bad taste in their mouth and their ass starts to pucker a little bit. It's not all unwarranted, especially when you have video game journalists comparing their job to being a real-world fucking soldier because they wrote like an article on Kotaku talking about a video game being too hard and people on Twitter disagreed, so now all of a sudden they're like some fucking war veteran for fighting through that controversy. It's just really silly stuff, and there is bad journalism out there that gives all of it kind of a bad name. But of course there is great journalism out there, and in fact that's what I'm here to focus on for today's video, talking about one of my favorite YouTubers, All Gas No Breaks. All Gas No Breaks isn't your traditional modern journalist who just sits behind the keyboard and writes an entire article based off of one tweet, just some meaningless garbage. All Gas No Breaks is more of an entertainer slash reporter. What All Gas No Breaks does is he goes to these very interesting communities, gatherings, goes to like a Conscious Life Expos, Flat Earth Convention, stuff like that. And recently he went to a coronavirus lockdown protest rally, and I think it's really insightful stuff as well as being extremely entertaining the way All Gas No Breaks conducts himself here with his interviews and such. I just really think it's very eye-opening stuff to just get a peek into the lunacy of some of these communities, and while a lot of it's very harmless stuff, and even the people he's interviewing are just having fun with it too, seeing stuff like the coronavirus lockdown protests firsthand, thanks to All Gas No Breaks, I think really highlights a huge problem right now, as well as an extremely entertaining one. So it's equal parts goofy and fun to laugh at, and equal parts scary. So let's dive in.
I got every problem with the government saying we can't go out. That's a prohibition. And it's illegal. It's against the Constitution. I'm immune compromised. I put that at risk today. Because I gotta be here.
Yeah, but why though? Why did you need to be here? It's not like the rally wasn't gonna happen without your presence. I don't think anyone is gonna stand up and be like, hey, where the fuck is Ron? Jesus, Ron's not here. All right, we're shutting this whole thing down. Rally's canceled, taking a rain check. Ron couldn't make it. He was busy butt-chugging a natty light in his bathtub. This seems like an unnecessary risk you're taking for no reason. And this is why I want to really tip my hat to All Gas No Breaks. Just even being here during this time of pandemic I think is extremely brave, especially around these kind of people that most of them are anti-vax, as you'll see throughout the video, and a lot of them just don't even practice good hygiene. A dude talks about having never washed his hands since he was like 4 years old or some shit. So him to put himself in this filth, this fucking festering cesspool of disease and grime, I think that is brave as shit. That is some ace reporting. Yeah, shit gets wild real quick. All of a sudden now we're talking about impeaching Bill Gates. I didn't even know Bill Gates was in office, but goddammit, we're thinking 10 steps ahead for when he is. We're already starting to impeach him now out here at this fucking lockdown protest.
Independent media. Me and this guy. It's called All Gas No Breaks.
I don't see your badge.
Exactly.
Just taking a look around the signs, it's about what you'd expect for a gathering like this. It's a gathering of society's most detrimental people. This group of people that holds these extremely dangerous beliefs that put not only themselves, but everyone around them at risk. This gathering here is genuinely like the perfect storm of insanity. It's like a fucking singularity of idiots. It's fucking crazy. It's united the 5G coronavirus believers with the flat earthers, with the anti-vaxxers, and they've come together to form like this Avengers of brainwashed troglodytes. This is like in SpongeBob with that episode where the villains come together to form evil. Every villain is lemons. It's like that, but instead these goofy supervillains can actually make the world significantly worse. This is what happens when these communities can keep finding each other because of Facebook spreading this kind of shit, and Twitter as well. This is the fucking result. This was always going to be like the climax to this shit. And now you have this massive gathering of people with even more people that still believe it and constantly being influenced by this misinformation.
You're an American, a born free American! Yeah, I want you to take the vaccine first, Bill Gates.
So I actually decided to do a little research into the Bill Gates conspiracy theory side of all this because I've heard it so often on Twitter, and by the way, half the accounts that talk about that also advocate for being able to fuck your pets, so nothing says just cause and good conspiracy quite like having bestiality on your side. But I did look into it, and it turns out this Bill Gates conspiracy thing is so fucking absurd, it'd be hard for me to even summarize the ridiculousness of it in a short little video here. But it's not surprising to see the Bill Gates conspiracy people coming out for this rally here, given everyone that did show up.
Who do you think's agenda this is?
Freedom! Freedom! Freedom!
Prolonged lockdown basically is slavery.
Do you feel enslaved?
I do. I'm a type A lawyer and I'm bouncing off the walls of my living room because I can't go out.
Now, I'm obviously not showing the whole video. I'm just taking bits and pieces that I thought were really interesting and goofy things to talk about. But I do recommend you check out the whole video on his channel. He also has a Patreon where he does longer and more content. I'm not sponsored by All Gas No Breaks, by the way. I'm just a huge fan, and I think the content he makes is just super fucking entertaining, as well as just being really interesting. It's taking this peek behind the curtain of madness into these weird communities and odd beliefs that you just never thought would ever possibly exist. It's like All Gas No Breaks is Willy Wonka, and he's inviting us into his chocolate factory to see all the crazy shit inside. It's an adventure. It's a fucking ride. And the reason why I brought up journalism in the beginning is because I think what All Gas No Breaks does is the best form of journalism. It's not, actual journalism like writing shit down. It's better. It's showing you these things, letting you see these things firsthand as he was on the front line, as opposed to someone who was just scouring Twitter and then wrote an article about this, There was plenty of articles about this protest, and you get a kind of general feel for it a little bit from the journalists, but you don't get the actual full effect like you do when watching All Gas No Breaks, being in the thick of it, in the fucking trenches here delivering this. I just think that's a really great thing.
Everybody cough in my face! Do it! Somebody come cough in my face! Yes! Cough directly in my face! Well, wait. No, wait. I never did put on hand sanitizer ever. And I don't ever wash my hands. Can you believe that?
Well, yes. Yes, I can believe that. This guy's a pretty interesting character. He seems like someone that would have been on Full House back in the day, and maybe he was. I'm not sure what he was credited with. I didn't really look for his IMDb or anything, but he's very animated, and he's having fun, just getting some people to cough in his face, having a jolly old time.
Go ahead, America. Touch your face. Go out and have sex, and don't worry about touching anything. Fucking touch anything. And now I drink raw eggs, and I eat raw meat, and I have been for years, and I'm fucking fine. 9/11 was an inside job. No one's ever walked on the moon. The vaccines are poison. Can you cough in my face?
This guy was so convincing, so persuasive, in fact, I walked into a gas station, marched into the bathroom, dunked my hand into the toilet, and put a finger in my butthole and whispered, "Thank you." This is the exact kind of firepower you want in your corner. This is the cavalry you want. This is the kind of man that needs to be in your corner. The guy that believes the moon landing was fake, vaccines are poison, and that 9/11 was an inside job. That is the kind of guy that's going to make your movement seem credible.
Incentivize yourself to be on jury duties.
We just need to open the beaches. I can't surf and there's swell. There's perfect barrels and no one out.
To be fair, this kid that looks like a fusion dance performed between Owen Wilson and Slash makes a good point. There are waves that nobody's surfing, and you know what? That is sad. That is sad. Ah, what a beautiful instrument, an incredible sound, angelic even. It sounds like two ass cheeks tightly clinched together trying to wiggle a fart out from between them.
COVID-19 is nothing more than a common cold. Everybody better watch out. Don't take your vaccines. Don't take nothing.
Flat Earth is too legit to quit. Even MC Hammer knows it's the shit. I be getting down like a clown all day. Everybody knows I'm related to Dr. Dre. I said, hell yeah. I said, yeah.
If you ask me for my perspective on all this, giving my armchair psychological expert opinion, I would say it all boils down to these communities needing an enemy to fight against. They feel like they need a goal, and right now that goal is to attack an invisible enemy that only they can really see and comprehend because they're so smart and so enlightened and so much smarter than everyone else around them. And that enemy is anything the government says. If the government came out right now and said, guys, Santa Claus isn't real, these fucking communities like 5G, coronavirus, flat earth, all that, these communities would go wild saying, wait a minute, government said Santa Claus isn't real. That means Santa Claus is real, and here's the proof. And then they go out of their way to prove Santa Claus is real.
And I can talk to you a lot about 5G and 60 gigahertz and what it's going to mimic in your body.
Yeah, like I said, the gang's all here, baby. It's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the 4 communities of the apocalypse all come together. Even the fucking juggalos knew not to gather during the pandemic. And yet these people that gather here act like they're smarter than everybody else because they can read Facebook memes and just be misled by fucking idiots. It's so silly. It's more than silly, though. It actually is dangerous because they hurt everybody by doing this. I guarantee half the people there are probably going to catch coronavirus, but the saddest part about that is the people that are going to accidentally come in contact and brush shoulders with these maniacs, they're also going to be at risk. And that's what's actually sad about that.
I commit suicide into God and give my body to God to speak through me, to fix this and save us.
Tyranny!
So, I have to go because the reason I'm here is for my daughters, and my daughters are really sick, and they can't be around all your cell phones because of 5G. And so they're in the car almost dying right now. So I want to say thank you for being here. Let's come back on the 1st.
What a great mother. My kids are dying in the car over there. I also didn't turn on the air conditioning. They'll be fine. But thanks everyone for being here and, spreading the good word about 5G and some shit. Unfucking believable. I don't work for Child Protective Services or anything, but just given what I heard there, maybe she's not the most well-equipped mother to have those children in the first place with her in her custody. She talked about how she drove her kids there, and she drove from far away. So she drove her sick daughters all the way to this convention that they didn't even want to be at and left them in the car so she could go on stage and get her 5 minutes of fame from her fucking little community of deranged idiots. That's some pretty fucked up shit right there. It's probably not the best course of action when your daughters are ill. And apparently, allegedly, dying ill. It's fucking disgusting, honestly. This whole little movement here is truly abhorrent. But thanks to All Gas No Brakes for just showing how fucking insane it is. It is a great video from All Gas No Brakes, but a very sad subject, unfortunately. And I just thought it was worth sharing and talking about. So yeah, that's it. See ya. It's time I introduce you to the most powerful organization on the planet, more powerful than any government that currently exists, more aggressive than Scientology, more secretive than the Men in Black. I'm talking of the Freedom to Breathe Agency. The FTBA has existed for as long as humans have, subtly guiding our history and shaping human evolution. Kind of like Area 51, they've been nothing but a myth, a legend, talked about in hushed whispers behind dumpsters, and never really understanding the full scope of the power the FTBA OTPHJ holds until recently. The Freedom to Breathe Agency has gone into the public eye, rising to the surface to be at the forefront of justice with one simple mission: refuse to wear a mask and sue anyone that politely asks you to. The Freedom to Breathe Agency is obviously started by those brain-rotted Karens that think if you put anything over your face, it's going to suffocate and kill you. So with the same mentality as children who think the Easter Bunny is leaving Easter eggs around their house, these Karens believe that our God-given right to breathe air is being stepped on. So let's go ahead and see how they're combating this.
That you guys been challenging people on these subjects. Okay, so we are with FTBA, the Freedom to Breathe Agency. We are with the People organization, making sure that people's constitutional rights, civil and federal laws are not broken. Okay, and so you personally need to take this to your manager because you personally can be sued for this.
This is a rare sighting of one of the elites of the Freedom to Breathe agency here. This woman who looks like a methed out Paris Hilton is issuing this employee a citation letting her know that she is personally liable to be sued should she ever ask someone to wear a mask again. God forbid the FTBA be within earshot of a mask request because they will pounce on you. They will fuck you in the mouth and the ass at the same time. Because the FTBA, they don't play around. When it comes to the right to breathe air, nobody enforces it better. They're like the air mafia. Air may have started as God's creation in their eyes, but now the FTBA has become more powerful than God himself. They own the air. It's their monopoly and they get to choose who's breathing the air and how they're breathing the air. And while they may not be an actual legitimate federal agency, that doesn't stop them from being scary as fuck. I mean, just look at that official badge she's wearing here. Whipped up in Microsoft Paint over the course of 15 laborious minutes. Like, come on. You're defenseless against these arbiters of justice. If you see one of these members walking down the street with this badge, turn around and just go the other fucking way, because you're not even worthy of breathing the same air that they are, unless they're trying to serve you a lawsuit, which you will likely deserve because you had the audacity to ask one of these post-menopausal women to put on a fucking mask, you goddamn swine.
Okay?
I'm just following the store policy.
I'm telling you, you are probably paid $15 an hour or $12 an hour, okay? But you are putting yourself into a major legal liability.
It always just blows me away how these miserable, dusty, crusty old harpies just can't resist the urge to be an asshole at every possible opportunity, throwing this woman's wage in her face for no reason other than to condescend to her, even though this lady's likely never had a job and just mooches off of her husband's successful career, which is why she has so much free time to make shitty badges and bullshit lawsuits out of fucking nowhere, and yet she still feels entitled enough to shit on someone who is working for a living. It is pathetic, truly fucking sad and pathetic, and especially for the FTBA, who's trying to be like an official organization, to go do shit like this. It's fucking silly. I mean, the whole thing is fucking silly. I don't even know why I'm trying to even give them the generosity of saying trying to pursue an official organization, because they're not and they never will be, they never could be. It is actually an organization fronted by miserable old women like this. You can see her friend from the fucking 50 Shades of Grey book club is filming this entire thing, thinking that this is somehow in the right for their Facebook group, in which they do have a private Facebook group. The FTBA is just such cowardly bullshit Karens. They can't have a public Facebook group because they're just so goddamn sensitive. But they do have a website, so hats off to them there. It's a dog shit website, but at least they can almost use the internet to some capacity other than just hiding in garbage Facebook groups.
Wow. Okay?
They need to get the fuck out of here.
Alright. Okay, you guys need to be careful.
Look at how proud she is of herself. This is the most she's accomplished since she was on the high school cheer squad 50 years ago. Once again, the supermarket is safe thanks to the FTBA. If there's air, there's justice. I guarantee this woman thinks she's one of the nicest people in the world. They all do for some reason, because these delusional idiots all think that they're doing the world a favor by harassing employees at retail stores and just people in general. They think that they're doing the world a favor by just being these miserable assholes. And they just genuinely think they're in the right no matter what you say to them, no matter what you could possibly prove to them. You'll never convince them that they're anything more than just a miserable piece of shit. So, that's the sad reality of it, but the FTBA doesn't stop and start with this one woman here. Like I said, it is trying to be an organization, and they've created these fake mask exemption cards that I'm sure you've seen by now, because for some reason these were very popular. Pretty sure they were just handing them out at like local retirement homes or some shit like that. But this little hall monitor badge here does absolutely nothing for you. This would be about as useful as giving someone a Pokemon card and then saying this proves that you're exempt from wearing a face mask in public. It's a whole bunch of fucking bullshit. In fact, the Department of Justice had to come out and say, no, we didn't issue these cards, this is bullshit. And if you ask me, that should be a crime to print cards like this and claim that it's from an official entity when it's not. I think they should be completely sued and each member of the FTBA hold personally liable in each suit on an individual level, just like how this woman in the supermarket was saying to the employee. I think that would be some poetic justice. It takes one glance at this library card to realize that it's fake, but even still, it doesn't stop these fucking brainwashed idiots from using this as something real. For some reason, people are convinced this is a legitimate thing, even though it has been proven from the actual Department of Justice to be bullshit. Which goes back to what I was saying, that even when you can objectively prove something is wrong, people will still believe it just for the sake of believing it, which is sad, but it is what it is. This whole thing is like some shit out of a Saturday morning cartoon, like a scam that Ed, Ed and Eddie would have used to get some jawbreakers, making fucking cards saying you're exempt from something. That is just the silliest concept, and these people are actual goddamn toddlers. I wouldn't be surprised if they got this idea from a cartoon. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to make you all aware of one of the most powerful organizations out there. So, sleep in fear, sleep with one eye open, knowing that the FTBA, the Freedom to Breathe Agency, is always watching. They're everywhere and nowhere. That's it. So yeah. I was going to include all this shit in yesterday's video I did about the coronavirus, but I felt the way evangelists have been responding to coronavirus is totally different from how the normal people have been. Normal people aren't, out there maliciously buying toilet paper and hoarding it just to be assholes. They're panicking. They're afraid. So they're hoarding toilet paper like it's gold. They think the world's going to turn into the fucking Fallout New Vegas where they're going to be using toilet paper for currency instead of bottle caps. It's just them being afraid. Whereas the only thing some of these evangelists are afraid of is missing out on a fat paycheck. Let me make this clear. I have no problem with people of faith. That's not what this is about. I have a problem with these evangelists preying on people's fear. Saying shit like, if you buy this Christian gospel rock album, it'll set up a spiritual barrier around your house protecting you from the coronavirus. There's just been a whole bunch of this shit going on right now that I'd like to show you a bit of. Asking an evangelist to help with coronavirus is like asking your high school bully to help with your confidence and self-esteem. It makes no fucking sense. So we'll start here with Pastor Jim Bakker, who's out here peddling a silver solution as a corona cure. I also have no doubt that it's not even silver solution, it's probably just a bottle of his own urine. Also, they call him a pioneer of Christian television, and yet this shit broadcasts in like 144p and they still sell all their shit on VHS tapes. A real pioneer, real innovator. Can't wait to see what Jim Bakker's gonna do next. He might take Christian television all the way to a CD.
This influenza that is now circling the globe, you're saying that silver solution would be effective.
Well, let's say it hasn't been tested on this strain of the coronavirus, but it's been tested on other strains of the coronavirus and has been able to eliminate it within 12 hours.
Yeah.
Totally eliminate it, kills it, and deactivates it.
Yeah.
And then it boosts your immune system, so then you can support the recovery, because when you kill the virus, then the immune system comes into action to clear it out. So you want a vibrant immune system as well as an ability to deactivate these viruses.
That's so good.
Yeah, so these octogenarians hype up the silver solution like it's a goddamn panacea. This is just the stupidest shit. This is like me going on TV and saying, hey look, I have Phoenix Downs. They worked in Final Fantasy to revive people. They can bring people back from the dead in the real world too, I'm sure. They were selling these for around $125, and enough people bought them to have it become a big deal, and now they're being sued as a result of this, which is great news. I think that's fantastic, but it's sad to know that there are people out there chugging bottles of silver solution as a result of this. They're probably doing shoeies of silver solution, fucking shotgunning it like frat boys with silver solution. Now, I'm sure you already knew Kenneth Copeland was going to be in here, the world's most famous asshole evangelist.
Got in the plane that God so graciously gave us, and we're flying home. As I was going home, the Lord, real quickly, he said, Jesse, do you like your plane?
This is a conversation between Kenneth Copeland and his co-host Jesse, where they're defending their private jets because people started to call him out on, we're giving you this money and you're buying private jets. So they defend it, and it's some pretty despicable shit, honestly. I half expected him to start passing around his PayPal information and tell people that he started a fundraiser because the Lord said he needs more money for a bigger yacht.
The world is in such a shape, we can't get there without this.
That's right.
We've got to have this. You can't manage that today.
Right.
This dope-filled world.
Right.
And get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Right. That's exactly the
And
truth.
it's deadly. We're in soul business here.
Right.
This is what everyone knows Kenneth Copeland for. Him saying getting on a public airline is like getting on a long tube with a bunch of demons. Also, this man is the most demon-looking motherfucker on the planet. This guy looks downright evil. This is what I imagine Satan looks like in hell. But not only does he look and sound like he rules in hell, he fucking acts like it too.
Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
A brief glimpse of the hellfire and wrath beneath that mask. Pretty deplorable shit, but this has nothing to do with what he's doing with coronavirus. I just wanted to bring everyone up to speed, or just give you a refresher on the Kenneth Copeland lore from the old manga, I suppose. Here's the coronavirus shit.
Put your hand on that television set.
Yes, Lord.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Sounds like the world's worst ASMR. I also don't know what his hand is covered in, the old sacred semen there or something. Looks like he just dipped it into some candle wax.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. He receive your healing.
Yes.
Now. Say it, I take it.
I take it.
I have it.
I have it.
It's mine.
It's mine.
This whole segment here reminds me of Squidward when he goes to be all alone and you keep hearing alone repeated in multiple different voices. That's this Kenneth Copeland coronavirus healing segment in a nutshell. Far be it from me to question how effective wet fingers can be when curing the coronavirus, but I mean, if you're not even in the same room with the wet fingers, I think the effectiveness of it goes down even further. I don't think putting your hand on a TV where Kenneth Copeland's hand is going to do much. In fact, you know, maybe that TV you're touching has coronavirus on its surface and now you just kind of fucked yourself and Kenneth Copeland hasn't healed you. He's fucking pranked you and given you the coronavirus. I mean, you're really taking a gamble right there.
I thank you and praise you for it.
Yes, Lord.
And I forgive if I have aught against any.
I forgive.
And I praise you that I'm well and whole.
I praise you that I'm well and whole.
Yes. According to the word of God.
According to the word of God.
I'm healed.
Yes.
After this aired, coronavirus cases dropped to 0 and coronavirus stopped existing.
And I consider not my own body.
Yes. Consider not my own body.
I consider not symptoms in my body.
I consider not symptoms in my body.
But only that which God has promised.
Only that which God has promised.
Only that what the Word has said.
Only that what the Word has said.
And by His stripes I was healed. And by His stripes I am healed now. I'm not the sick trying to get healed. I'm the healed and the devil's trying to give me the flu.
Yeah, fuck the devil. At least this was free, I'll say. This was a free healing done through the television. At least he wasn't charging for it or anything, so that's good, especially considering everything else does have a price, like the silver solution. Alex Jones isn't necessarily an evangelist by traditional definitions, but he's also been going around saying that his toothpaste is an anti-coronavirus combatant. So this is being used by a lot of different people just preying on this panic, and I think it's despicable shit. That's it. See ya. Karens have become such an incredible nuisance to society that an actual law has been passed addressing some of the shit Karens do, and it's actually just called Karen. It's about people that are making racially charged fake police phone calls. It's pretty fucking wild just how insane this surge in Karen activity has been. This is something on like a biblical scale, something that you'd read about in like a history textbook of some kind of plague that swept across the world at some point, and we're living through it right now. And I think all of us just think every Karen is a big dumb fucking idiot with this incredible mistrust of anything scientifically accurate or anything that comes from a position of authority. Like if scientists came out tomorrow and said, hey, just want to remind everyone the air is safe to breathe and good for you, these Karens and Facebook anti-vax moms would then start questioning whether or not it's safe to breathe air. Like, oh fuck, they must have poisoned the air. Oh my god, I knew it all along. Oxygen is the devil. Wake up, you sheep, this is the truth. We need to start trying to live underwater. And then they'd all like drown themselves in their own fucking bathtub or something to escape the evil oxygen that the government has, put out into the world or some shit. It's just been absolutely wild stuff. But I actually came across an extremely intelligent Karen, a self-proclaimed genius musician Karen, and I think it'd be fun to take a look at what a smart Karen might look like. But before we do that, I'd like to share with you a very rare male Karen.
6 feet away from you.
You're harassing me.
I'm not harassing you. You are infecting us. You're coming close to me. You're coming close to me.
Back off!
me again! Back the fuck up or your fucking phone down!
This delightful dickhead right here is Daniel, and he was an insurance salesman until this video came out, and he got fired in around 8 or 9 hours after this video went viral. Daniel fucking speed ran unemployment. A very impressive 80% route there executed by Daniel. You can say a lot of shit about Daniel, but you absolutely cannot call into question his ability to strike a mean power stance. I love that shit. It looks like he's a member of the Ginyu Force, getting ready to get in position to strike up their pose. I mean, what kind of fucking power stance is this? It's like an action figure that's a little too stiff, like the joints don't move around correctly. Or like a video game NPC with like a shitty walk animation. Now I'd like to share with everyone why he shouted, "I feel threatened." It's a law in Florida, and this happened in Florida, where if you exclaim that you feel threatened, you can pretty much do whatever you want to the person who's threatening you. You can literally kill that person and be deemed self-defense because you said you felt threatened. It's like an actual fucking cheat code you can use, like, "Oh, I feel threatened," and then you fucking torture somebody, and Florida would be like, "Well, he did say he feels threatened, so it's all good." It's fucking silly. I've actually seen this happen in the real world before. I was at a bar, and I don't know what was going on between these two dudes, but one of them shouted, "I feel threatened," verbatim, because that's like the fucking code word. He shouted that, and then Goldberg speared a man into this fucking support beam that was holding up this, I don't know, some shit to stop the rain. It wasn't raining, but there's like this little covering over top of one of the bars, and he speared him into that shit and fucking broke that fucking support beam. And all because he said, "I feel threatened," which gives him the legal right to do some shit like that. At least that's how I understand it, because I've seen it happen, and this dude doing that, it seems to me like he wanted to at least cover his bases if he wanted to get physical with this guy, because Florida has some stupid fucking laws like that.
Be polite, be courteous. Very important to understand people's frustration.
Good.
This will exempt you. This will exempt you from wearing a mask.
That's okay. You're right. That's okay.
Have a good day.
Now this video here comes from a man named Brian Tao, who was biking through an anti-mask rally, and he gets a little more than he bargained for here. He bites off a little more than he can chew with this lady you're about to see enter the scene. You're getting a little sneak peek of her right here, and you're about to see her in full force. He ripped up the little brochure, and now he's summoned a demon.
If somebody being rude to you, the only thing you say to them, have a good day.
Have a good day.
If somebody being rude to you,
That's okay. Those are the people that walk the Jews into the gas
stay
station.
healthy and have a good day.
Those are the people that walk the Jews.
Stay healthy and have a good day.
It's a fact. I said you're the same kind of people that walk the Jews right into the gas tank.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I think coronavirus might be the least of humanity's concerns when people like this continue to reproduce and instill these beliefs in their children, and then those kids grow up to be this fucking disgusting clone of their parents that believe this abhorrent shit.
Got you on video.
Good. Have me on video.
And your
Because
name then?
That's what my name is Kellyanne Wolf. I'll give you my name.
Okay, you have a business card?
No, I don't have a business card. And I don't need to
Do
provide
you have
one.
Instagram? Do you have Instagram? Do you have Facebook?
I'm all over the place. I'm a musician and a very popular one. So it'll be very easy for you to find me.
To be so confident in your stinky horseshit beliefs to put your actual name and face on it in a video where you look like a total asshole is so baffling to me. But she really wanted her name out there, so I decided to look into it. She claimed she's a very popular musician, and it'd be easy to find her, and it was easy to find her because there's a lot of people that are making fun of her. Her Facebook page has 50 likes on it. Her YouTube channel had 15 subs, but when I went back an hour or two ago, it was up to 40 subs, so she's a musician on the rise. I have no doubt she'll be charting in Billboard pretty soon here with some of the bangers that she's produced. So let's go ahead and take a listen to one, and maybe she could be the next Ariana Grande or the next Taylor Swift. She could be a huge star in the making.
He said he loved me. Oh, said he'd stay.
It reminds me of music you'd hear in SpongeBob, like if SpongeBob started like a shitty pop country band or something, as kind of a show joke, not like an actual musician's career, but to each their own. I do have to say the instrumentals I think are actually ripped from the Ed, Edd n Eddy episode where Double D's playing that weird fucking instrument on the back of a boat where Ed's like propelling them with his feet, if anyone remembers that. It reminds me of that instrument, whatever the fuck that was. It's a weird genre, but who knows, perhaps this is the next big genre to pop off. This could be like the new dubstep. for the country community. Couldn't tell you.
You are anybody who is going to commit to this kind of civil obedience is the same kind of people that believe their government when they walk the Jews into the gas tank. That's what I said. So you can quote me.
Good.
I will never not be amazed at the people that are claiming this civil obedience is some kind of disease and we're all just puppets of the government, when every single one of them practices the same civil obedience, but it doesn't apply to them. This lady is, by definition, conforming to what the government says she has to do, which is wearing clothes in public. Whether or not it's a choice she makes on her own doesn't matter. The government is telling her to do it and she's complying. But for some reason, asking people to wear a mask during a fucking pandemic is a little too far for these goddamn idiots that think putting something over your mouth instantly kills you, suffocates you, smothers you. It's just unbelievable to me how dumb people are these days. People only have an issue when something is new. If it's something that's been around since they were young, they don't care, even though it's the exact same fucking thing. You have to wear clothes in public. They don't get upset about that. I don't see a lot of these anti-maskers going around naked delivering their message about why you shouldn't listen to the government. Why is that? Why is it only the mask that you take an issue with when it's encouraged to wear one for the safety of everybody else? No one claims a mask is 100% effective, but it is proven to at least help. Why wouldn't you want to mitigate some of the risk? Well, it's because these fucking people have this insane desire to be unique, special, and smart when they're the dumbest fucking people in the world who are just clones of each other, just actual NPCs repeating the same goddamn script. They're the actual sheep. They just follow blindly whatever they see online, and they can't recognize the hypocrisy of criticizing people for following the government's instructions when they literally live their entire lives following the government's instructions. They just follow older rules instead of some newer ones that are encouraged.
By the way, I've got 13 degrees in psychology. I'm a member of Mensa, and I have a master's in political science.
13 degrees in psychology. This woman is collecting psychology degrees like Pokemon cards out here. Is there even 13 branches of psychology? Like shit. She must really have some degrees in some obscure ones like fucking video game addiction psychology. The psychology behind wanting to touch your wiener more than 2 times a day, like some real specific ones. And then a fucking member of Mensa. You know how you can immediately know someone's not in any way associated with Mensa? Is when they're telling you that they're associated with Mensa.
How much did you pay for those degrees?
It's like this to me. Yeah, that's fine. The guys, they'll never be as smart as
What's
you.
that?
You really believe that helps you?
Oh yeah, it does.
Wearing that shows how much intelligence you actually have, because it doesn't.
So, okay.
Super soccer moms write about one thing. Wearing a mask does demonstrate just how much intelligence you have. It shows you have at least a very basic level of intelligence, like the most basic common sense level of intelligence possible. You can identify everyone who's a fucking idiot in public by whether or not they're wearing a mask. If they're not wearing a mask, they're pretty fucking dumb. If they are, well, they're at least kind of in the right ballpark when it comes to just basic understanding of the most general concepts.
Okay, I asked someone else here. Come here. I want to ask you something. So, there are 2 things here.
2010.
What's that?
This is a pandemic from 2010.
Okay, so why don't you think the masks work?
Fake.
Why don't you think the masks work?
They don't work.
But why? Why?
They medically don't work.
Why?
They cannot keep you from getting a virus.
It's actually like arguing with children. Well, why doesn't it work? Well, because it doesn't. No, but why doesn't it work? Well, because it medically doesn't. Yeah, but why? It doesn't. It's so fucking infuriating. I don't know how Brian can even keep his cool with that kind of conversation happening.
So you don't believe this mask will stop a virus particle, right?
I'll tell you why. A virus is 1,000 times smaller than a bacteria. A virus will not stop a virus.
Okay, so you also believe,
all these top doctors,
but you also believe that it stops an
an
oxygen molecule?
Then you can take away your attitude, and I'll have to.
I don't have an attitude, I'm just asking you.
You're trying to ridicule me from the get-go.
So Brian makes a point to try and tell these people that their argument is a load of bullshit. They believe that the virus escapes through the mask, so the mask is totally useless, and meanwhile oxygen can't get into the mask, so the people wearing a mask can't breathe and they're getting sick due to lack of oxygen, which makes no fucking sense because oxygen is significantly smaller than a virus. I think it's 100 or 1,000 times smaller than a virus, so their argument just doesn't work. if the virus is getting through the mask, it'd be impossible for oxygen not to get into the mask considering it's so much smaller. And the fact that the virus is so much larger than oxygen means the mask at least helps the virus not get out. I don't even know why he bothers fucking trying to explain it to these people. I don't even know why I'm going into detail because it's fucking common sense, really. But it's not that these people don't believe it. It's that they don't want to believe it, so they've convinced themselves the science is all wrong and the science is only right when it's applied on Facebook. It's just a matter of people refusing to accept the truth because they want to believe something else.
Yes, so you probably, I don't think you understand.
If this is what a 195 IQ looks like, then there must be something really fucking wrong with the tests that are administered. But anyway, we've at least seen what it looks like when a Karen has a genius-level intellect. In fact, one of the highest recorded intellects of all time. 195 is no joke, and we can really see it in full display here. Just really all the neurons firing there, all kinds of incredible arguments and whatever. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah.